to 311 Griffins. This is Sandman, and what we are watching here is the original Crysis on PC. And this is, in my opinion, one of the more underrated single-player games in the world. This is actually my favorite mission or map or level from the game, and I wanted to play this a little bit and just show some clips from this mission and the next mission, hopefully, just to kind of highlight some of the things that I loved about this game. There is a little bit of weapons modification, and these days I think weapons modification is a pretty cool feature to have in any game. In Crysis, it's not that crazy of weapons modifications, but it's a little bit, so it's kind of cool. This is a little cutscene here that highlights some of the lighting and atmospheric effects from the game that I found to be pretty cool.
Holy shit! There goes another one!
And as you saw previously when I was running up the hill a minute ago, you can shoot the trees. When the trees break and fall down, it gets a little bit wonky in the way where the break is. But it's just a cool feature, and it may not have been the first game, but it was one of the first games that I noticed where you could shoot trees and knock them down, and it's just kind of fun. The physics in the game are pretty good, and you can even adjust some of the physics settings. Now here what we're going to look at is some different suit functions. The suit itself isn't customizable in the first Crysis game. In Crysis 2 and 3 it was, but here I use cloaking mode a lot. Cloaking and armor. I basically switch back and forth between the two of them, but it's fun. You can play with different settings, and the speed and the strength do help some. So normally I do a lot of sneaking and cloak, and they'll lose track of you. They'll keep shooting, as you see here, but they'll lose track of you a little bit when you cloak. I get stuck on the trees then when the grenade goes off. But the fire's pretty good. Just the physics and the graphics are pretty darn good in this game, and I really like it. The environments are beautiful. I love the tropical island setting. I kind of wish Crysis 2 and 3 were set back on the Lingshan Islands. You can use the binoculars to, kind of mark people tactically. I don't use that function a ton, but it's in there. And you'll see here, one of the things I really like about this game is the progression of time. Basically, as you go through the levels, there's a real day-night cycle, and it looks good. It highlights some of the beautiful parts of the environment that they built for the game, and it's just kind of cool because the missions, for the most part, the missions are very linked together. You go from one area to the other in real time, so to speak, and the levels are connected, the time is connected for the most part. And here the water is just really good looking water with the sunrise behind it. Makes the game a little bit more fun to play even when it's being challenging and kind of giving you some hard times. It's fun to play because it's so beautiful. And you can really just sneak around and check people out and get a tactical advantage. And you can get lucky pistol shots every once in a while. Also, I don't know if we've seen it yet, but not only do the trees break, the shrubs and everything don't break, but the leaves move when you shoot them. So there's just a lot of physics that they've included in this game. That's pretty cool.
Nomad. You gotta clear those artillery units before we can send in airstrikes.
Here we're using strength mode to jump up on a building. And I can't help myself, I always have to blow up fuel containers. They blow up a little bit too easily, but it's a video game. So what do you want? Things up. You'll see also here in a little bit, the buildings, you can see that these are sheet metal, kind of corrugated tin roofs and things like that, and they did a really good job of incorporating, I don't know what you would call them, but ragdolls for buildings, so to speak. There you saw a tree fall over from the explosion, in addition to the roof breaking. But the buildings, they'll come apart in fairly realistic ways, especially if you have the physics turned up. Here I'm stinking at shooting. So you can always run behind cover and let your energy build back up and then cloak. And then here, I'm going to pick up this barrel, and you can kill people pretty easily with barrels if you just bounce them into the people. So, but I like, see, he barely got hit. I like the idea of a barrel just moving around with nobody carrying it, so I like to cloak and carry barrels around. I also like to throw the explosive barrels and try to shoot them in the air, and then blow them up, blow people up with them. That shed to the left of me right there, it actually already got blown up, so there's like 2 walls, and that's it of the shed. So that's not a very good highlight of the buildings blowing apart. There's more of a nuisance than anything. Here we're back at the beach and doing a little bit of sniping at the other boats. These guys are kind of hard to hit sometimes because they are always moving. But the boats are really fun to drive as well. So I got the gunner, he's the main part you got to worry about. The driver just kind of goes around and he eventually parks. You can drive all the boats that I've found, you can drive the vehicles you can drive. You do get, in one mission, you get to drive, the one after this one actually, you get to drive a tank. And then in another mission you get to drive the little dropship thing, which that mission's a little bit annoying, or a little bit frustrating, but it's very gratifying to blow things up by shooting them a bunch in this game. I really, it's always worth my time. See a waterfall over there. It's just, like I said earlier, it's a good tropical setting, but it's always worth my time to jump in a boat or a jeep and take off shooting things just for recreation. See the crabs running around. There's crabs and sea turtles and things like that, little guinea fowl type things. You can see the sun's kind of coming up a little bit. It's the day's growing, so to speak. So most of these maps are pretty large and somewhat open, and they take a while to complete. The maps usually take a while. Now you could probably run through them pretty easily, but for me they take a long time to do. You can skip parts of them. There's optional objectives and things like that, but you can see the physics a little bit there. The barrels get thrown by the force of the grenade. And here I wind up doing a little merry-go-round with these people, chasing them around this area. And I also always use the barrels if you can to blow people up. we've all loved exploding barrels ever since the days of Doom. Now, the one thing that you can exploit in this game, and the AI is not bad, but one thing you can do to exploit them is to silence your weapons or suppress your weapons, and then sometimes the AI doesn't really know which direction you are facing or which way you're going. But here you can see you can grab these guys and punch them and they die, and you can go into strength mode and chunk them a long ways. I don't know that I do that in this video, but and there's another example of the good physics. Here we're going to an optional objective, and like I said, you can skip things like this, but it's just kind of fun to run around and do everything you can. And you can also punch vehicles and make them flip back over. I love punching vehicles. Mostly I left this clip in just to show a couple of little things about the environment. The lighting here is pretty good, and while the leaves on the trees are not completely realistic, you can see that you know, they look a little bit goofy when you focus on them, but you can see through them. I mean, they look somewhat realistic in some ways, so I find that to be pretty cool.
Of a munition store inside the harbor.
I suggest you grab some C4 for those.
And you can shoot the chickens. And feathers go flying. And you can also try to run people over with vehicles, which is a necessity. Now, you cannot run over your own guys. In fact, that's one of the things I dislike about this game the most, is the fact that you cannot shoot friendly forces. Now, the explanation for that is you're in this high-tech nanosuit that identifies friend and foe and won't let you shoot your friends, but it's annoying. I don't even mind the games that that make you lose and start over if you commit too much friendly fire, but I really don't like being forced into being nice to people, because when you get when you get tired of playing a game the right way, the next best thing is to play the game the wrong way. But that's okay. I once killed a bunch of my own guys by carrying a bunch of red barrels over to the VTOL that they were on, and around, and then I shot one of the barrels, and it killed everybody. Here, you just saw me do the strength mode to jump over the fence, and then I shot at some guys. Strength mode has a nice added benefit of making the recoil on your gun less. Now I'm going to chase this guy in here and kill him with a barrel. 2 for 1. Let your energy build up and go back into cloak mode. Oh, we got a bunch of guys out here. And use the barrel. Apparently there's some clipping on the wall there that's making my bullets not go through. And this is basically the harbor. This is the end of the mission, and we came from basically behind where I'm looking at the moment from a mountaintop, and we crossed a harbor or a cove kind of area and made it to another harbor. I'm not going to talk too much for the next few minutes. It's just more highlights of different ways that you can shoot people and different strategies. There's really a lot you can do. You can play different modes, I guess, or different ways. Again, I like to do the sneaking around cloaked kind of a thing because that's just the way I play, but I have done it before. I'm not as good at it, but I have run around in speed mode before, and you're just really fast, and it's hard for the enemies to kind of track you, I guess, or to keep up with you, and so you can just kind of run around. Now the problem with speed mode is your energy runs out pretty quickly. Same with strength mode, you jump a couple of times and then you're out of energy. So, but anyway, they've really, what I like is the maps are very large, and they're very diverse, and they do a good job of making it look somewhat realistic while also making it intriguing to kind of run around, and the things that are there for cover and concealment are kind of cool. So here I've got the sniper rifle, and I'm going to upgrade it with the better scope. You also acquire different parts as you go, so when you first get the sniper rifle you don't have the sniper scope, but it definitely helps once you get it. Now there's also a shotgun that you can suppress, which is always kind of funny. They do have shotgun suppressors in the real world, but it's tough to suppress a shotgun.
Maximum strength.
Over there, fire!
Got a little lucky with the timing on this one. But like I said, use the barrels if you can. They cause all kinds of destruction, and it's fun.
Maximum strength.
And there is another mission towards the end, basically the last mission, where you're actually on a ship, and they did a really good job. I mean, you get used to looking at the tropical island with the beautiful water and sunshine and sunsets and the palm trees and everything like that, and then they freeze it at one point, so you're running around the same type of environment for a little bit, but everything's frozen. And then you get on these ships, and you've got this really interesting, I mean, right there we transitioned from man-made lighting to natural lighting. And for a video game, it looks pretty darn good. And the other one, it's at nighttime. The other mission, it's at nighttime on an aircraft carrier, and once again the lighting looked really good. They've got some planes doing takeoffs and landings and all, but it's just kind of fulfilling. I mean, these strike fighters, apparently they were standing by just 20 seconds away, but it's still pretty cool and fulfilling after a long mission to see the ship blow up and sink. And then you can swim down and check out the hole whenever you're after it sinks. But apparently the strike fighters couldn't stick around long enough to kill this helicopter.
Way to show 'em how it's done, Nomad.
holes, and this is mission complete, basically. The next little bit's just going to show parts of the next mission, which is where you're driving the tank around. And it's a pretty fun mission. It's a nice change of pace since you're driving the tank, but it's also a little difficult. They put a lot in that mission, but still, it's pretty fun. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off on the voiceover and leave the rest to anybody that wants to continue watching, but I just wanted to basically show this. I know the game's a little bit older, but it's still a good looking game. When it first came out, one of the biggest complaints about it was that it was power hungry, and it was very power hungry. This game, even though I didn't have it on, I think I had it on medium settings, and it pretty much fried my last graphics card on my old computer. But now I can run it on full spec, and it's still a good looking game, even though it's a little bit older. So I wanted to show this as kind of what I consider to be an underrated first-person shooter. I will say that the multiplayer kind of stinks. I tried it a couple times, and I did not like the multiplayer, but for a single-player game, it's pretty darn good, and I think these days you can probably pick it up for a little bit cheaper, you know. I don't know what it retails for, but I would highly recommend this game if you're into first-person shooter campaigns, especially if you can find it for a pretty cheap price. It's well worth it. Crysis 2 and Crysis 3 I didn't think were as good. They had some benefits in some ways over this one. The gameplay might have been a little bit better in some ways, but I didn't enjoy the environments as much, and they weren't as fun to replay over and over. Really, like I said, I think if Crysis 2 and Crysis 3 were put back on the island, or at least partially on the island, I think I would have enjoyed them more, especially since at the end of Crysis 1 you're kind of led to believe that you'd be showing back up on the island and tearing up some aliens. But anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Peace.
I'm in position. I've got a visual on the munitions dump.
Use your binocs and light her up. Roger, Idaho. Target is locked. That's a go. Damn fine work. Idaho 2 out of commission. Good luck, boys.
Understood.